So this is my breakdown on this clip here that we're going to run through and talk through the node tree I use to get to where we are now, and sort of the process I put in place in order to get everything in the right order, and including noise reduction and stuff, because we, had some noise in the blacks beforehand, so we're going to get rid of that. And yeah, let's go and jump right in. As we can see here, this is the clip from the beginning and what we've got. So you can see we've got a little bit of noise in the blacks here going on, which is pretty normal for the FX30, to be honest. And then you can see we've got some flaring as well from the lights, so we're going to tackle those two things here. So as you saw before, this is the after. We've got a nice contrast from the sort of yellow of the car and the blues of the floor, which I've kind of made. They're grey originally, so I kind of want that nice contrast between the colours. So let's go through the node tree one by one. Let's deactivate all of them. So the first thing I've got is my input device transform, which will hit IDT. So I'm going from my S-Log to Resolve, and then back from Resolve at the end to Rec 709, because I like to work in that Resolve colour space. It just makes things work a lot nicer and a lot easier. Next thing I'm tackling is my primaries. So here you can see here what I've done. So we haven't really lifted much. We pulled the gamma up and the gain down, bumped up the contrast, moved the pivot around just to bring in everything sort of into the right area and where it needs to be, and reduce the highlights as well, so it stops those lights being quite so intense. The next thing I did was just push the curves a little bit, just brings a bit more contrast in there, a bit more of a nice S-curve on there, as we can see here. So it's not too heavy, nothing too heavy. I brought the top end down a bit just so we're not clipping anywhere. See, we're still clipping at the bottom here with these blacks, but we can solve that in a minute. So the next thing I want to do actually is create my look. So that's going to be here, and to do that I'm creating parallel modes. So everything I do here, then we can get back in the car afterwards. So it's not too much to remove, but we can deal with that in a second. So to create this look, I've sort of split my custom curves here. From the top you'll see, so what I usually do is I pull my area of interest, which is the car for instance, and key that so I don't move that on the custom curves. Now, the reason that's important is there's then less work to do here, and I only actually want to affect sort of the topper end of the image anyway, which are these sort of mid-range and high-range areas, which is going to be the floor and the walls. So I only need to affect that, so I'm only going to pull those things around. Just saves me more work, really. So that's how I created that look, was just by splitting each one and moving it around to a point really where I was just happy with. And then next thing I did was come and pull the car back, so pull the yellow back to a bit more yellow essentially. Literally just play with the hue. So yeah, literally play with the hue, and that did enough for me. Next thing I did was sort of sort out the lighting issue I've got here. So we can see, I'm guessing where the sun's coming in here, and we're getting a lot of light reflection off this left hand side wall, which is then bouncing back. So what I've done here is just add that left node in there to pull that through, and all I did here was add a window, and we can see there it's very subtle, but it just softens off that edge a little bit. Next thing was vignette, again very soft, not much done here, and I like to do my vignettes in the curves. I like to find that's the softest way of moving light around. If I'm moving the global or even the gain at all, I kind of find it's a little bit too harsh. So the softest way I found it is by moving the curves around. Next thing I'm doing is just selecting out this area here of the light, and I've tracked it as well, so it does stay pretty nicely throughout that whole frame and that whole clip, sorry. And all I've done here is just brought down the gain a tiny little bit. It's a really minimal change, but it's just taken off the harshness of that sort of right hand daytime running light. Now we get more of the style side of things, so we're moving on to the glow. And what I like to do with a lot of my glow is I come over here and change it to soft light. I just find kind of creates that more dreamy feel, and in this one it's more like a moody feel, I find. And I just adjust my spread and my shine threshold to kind of where I want it to be at for the, essentially you're changing the exposure of the whole image. So for that, and then we just pushed up the bright region recovery a little bit, so we're not losing all that detail at the top. The next thing I've done, because we've applied noise reduction here, you can see it softened out the image quite a large bit. So I'm going to pull up the sharpening a little bit, and also we just bring back the details, which we didn't even have before, in these sort of lines in the grille and in the logo. So I find that sharpening really makes that car just pop out a little bit more, because that grille's quite a nice look. And to do that, I'll just come over here, and I tend to stick around 47 mark, because I find anything below that is just a little bit too much. And then I'll just adjust my scaling, because that's a really subtle change. Then the last thing I've done is add some halation. Now I don't do this on all my clips, but I felt like this kind of needed it in a way, or is a nice stylistic choice. It's not changed the image a crazy amount once you zoom out, but it does just add that little bit of extra pop on the glow, especially around the logo there. So it's not done a crazy amount, but it just softens those highlighted areas and gives that a nice filmic look. So just to recap, this is where we came from. Then we added our input device transform, and then all we've done after that is create our look within our primaries and custom curves, really. Added a few extra fancy bits, and we are done, and that is my look. So if you like that short breakdown, smash a like, subscribe, and drop a comment below to let me know what else you want to see, whether you want to see more breakdowns, whether you want to see more videos or sort of behind the scenes stuff on what I'm doing, what I'm shooting, and what I'm grading. See you next time.